So you got to remember at that time of us filming that, we didn't know what that was going to be. Like, we were just two mates having a laugh. If you concentrate on the money, it will never be enough. So I started posting haircuts and stuff on Instagram, and then all that YouTube shit happened and stuff. And then I come home and I've got a fully booked column in the garage. My dad's going nuts.
Yeah.
This was one thing that was said to me, and I think my mum said it again, was they said it's 20% skill, 80% chat.
Welcome everyone, I'm George Pitts, the host of The Motive. Today I'm joined here by Kem. Kem, welcome brother.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming, I really appreciate it.
It's all good, man.
So Kem, you've got Cuts and Bruises, you've also got Basement.
Not at the moment.
Yeah, the Barbershop.
Cuts and Bruises Barbershop, yeah. I'm the owner of that, yeah.
And you've got Basement 57.
Yeah.
Before we talk about all of like the exciting stuff going on in your present moment, I just want to kind of like hear your story, like where it all started from, and then see how we got here today.
Okay. Well, I started cutting hair when I was 15. So important to note that my mum's a hairdresser, has been a hairdresser my whole life. She had a salon for 37 years. And me and my sister were pretty much raised in this salon, like, from babies. There's loads of photos of us in the shop as kids and stuff like that. So, and as we got older, as my sister got into her early teens, and then I got into my early teens, we would help out at the shop, teas and coffees, washing hair, and it was a really fun environment. Like, I don't know if you spent much time in a women's salon, but it's a pretty fun environment. There's music playing, people are talking. It's just a real casual yet quite professional environment.
Yeah.
And I think it's something me and my sister always kind of appreciated being around. We wanted to spend time with my mum as well, and she always worked. She had like Sundays and Wednesdays off, and
this was her own.
But this was her own salon.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, when I got to about 12 or 13, I started helping out in the shop on weekends, on Saturdays, where I could. It wasn't like consistent, but where I could. And then when I got to about 15, I think I started to realise that... Actually, you know what? I don't think I did realise that school wasn't for me. I think I always knew that I wasn't that academic, especially being around people like my sister and a couple of my older cousins who were all like doing uni, and, you know, one's a doctor, two are lawyers, and there's, you know, everyone's doing essays and coursework and all this kind of stuff.
You always found yourself quite hands-on sort of person.
Yeah, I mean, I was just more interested in playing guitar, music, skating.
Being creative.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd even call myself that at that stage in my life. All I knew is that I wasn't that way.
Fair.
You know?
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was yet. But I started cutting hair when I was 15. I grabbed the clippers that were in my mum's shop and grabbed my cousin Eden and cut his hair, sat him down. He was like, he's like my brother. Like, there's 11 months between us. I'm the oldest one, and he's very willing to do whatever. He'd back it, anything basically.
That's a true friend.
Yeah, man, he's a real one. Do you know what I mean? So he sat in the chair and let me go ham on his head, and we'd do patterns and like make it fun, and I'd try fading. And I don't know. I don't know if it was all of the bad haircuts that my mum and her team used to give me that spurred me to want to do good men's haircuts.
Nice.
But for some reason, I really took to it, and I really liked it. And I think it was one little word of encouragement from my mum, like, "You're not bad at that."
Is that what it
That was it. You're not bad at that. And it kind of just, I suppose, spurred me on. And she always told me that I needed to get out of her shop and go to like the West End if I wanted to do it properly and do all that. So yeah, I did. I left. I always had like a home set up, or enough to do at home or at someone's house.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's what I was doing mainly. And then on the weekends when I was at my mum's, whoever could come up to Stoke Newton, because that's where it is, Stoke Newton, Hackney. Whoever could come up there, I would cut their hair there.
And the Stoke Newington one, is that the same place as where you are today?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That I've taken. Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
So sorry.
So yeah, I mean, that's where it started.
Working with mum, and then you just really got a knack for it. And yeah, that's fair.
But I didn't do any sort of I didn't do any like professional development with my mum in terms of like becoming. She didn't teach me how to cut hair.
it was just kind of like the experience of like being in the environment and
Yeah, I suppose I experienced the environment subconsciously, consciously, whatever, at what ages, but I never learned any, like, it wasn't like I was my mum's apprentice. I don't think she was encouraging me to get out of her salon because it was kind of set her shop. You know, she'd had the clients for years. It wasn't a place for anyone to train. So yeah, I did. I left, found doing barbering when at that stage, at that time in the world, there was no like everyone. I don't know, anyone that's looked into barbering now knows about London School of Barbering and these sort of academies that are there now.
right. Okay.
These weren't there when I was younger. You had one, and it was extortionate to do it.
So
it still kind of is extortionate to do it now.
Yeah,
to be honest.
yeah.
So the easiest route to go down was to do hairdressing, go into a salon, go into these more professional environments, because barbershops were always just like, you know, bunch of guys having a laugh. But going into these sort of more professional environments, learning the etiquette, learning what you could as a junior, whilst doing like a college course, like an MVQ college course. That was the easiest way to get into it and the cheapest way of getting into it, and also working and earning at the same time. So it wasn't some unpaid apprenticeship.
That was pretty much what happened with me, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. In your job, you would get more unpaid or whatever, you know. You just have to take what you get. Really.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely at the beginning, because. So you didn't actually end up doing some sort of course? It was more like the School of Life that was the main experience.
100% the School of Life was the experience, but I did do an MVQ.
Oh, you did in the end?
Yeah, I did it for a year at Hertford Regional. Realised it was shit.
Yeah.
Can we swear on this show?
Yeah, swear away.
Realised it was just total shit. Because at the time I was learning from... I went to the salon at the end of my road. So my parents lived in Richmond Hill. I went to a salon at the end of my road. Went into the first salon. It was like a 10-second walk away from my bedroom, not even from my house, but you know what I mean, from like door to door. And just so happened to meet a great hairdresser in there by the name of Joe, who worked there, I think, a few days a week, but also worked in Saks in Covent Garden, which is where they filmed 10 Years Younger. I don't know if you remember that show. Back in the day.
Yeah.
But it was like a huge makeover show. It was on Channel 4. It was a big deal. And he worked in Saks in Covent Garden there. So I just so happened stumbled across him. He was like, you can be my junior, like personal junior. I was like, wicked. Didn't know who he really was at the time. But it turns out he was quite a big deal. And I had a great mentor there.
Nice.
So I ended up working with him whilst going to this bad college, realising the college was really not teaching me anything. It was more about health and safety and like what to do if someone catches on fire or something like that.
Yeah.
Than actually learning anything about the trade.
It's too theoretical rather than like...
It was very theoretical, and the stuff that you that you would learn in those colleges were like, you know, stuff that you're just not going to do in the shop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That. Just certain technical things that you're just not going to do. And I just found that I was learning a lot more from him. So I went down to a 1 day a week college.
How old were you when you met him?
15.
Oh, so
16. 15,
that was
16.
a great opportunity, like to meet a mentor at that age, like who can kind of show you the ropes and like guide you through it.
Yeah, man. I actually went to college first to do media studies.
Did you?
Yeah, so that was the one thing I did. I think I was in a bit of denial about wanting to do hair.
Okay.
And also
why is that? Because of...
Also kind of probably a bit afraid of saying I wanted to do hairdressing as like a straight guy in quite a masculine environment.
Yeah.
You know, it's why do you want to do hairdressing?
Yeah.
Are you gay? Like, you know, all these kind of like stuff that you just wouldn't hear these days. Or like,
so there's a bit of a stigma attached to it.
Yeah, I think so. It was just like, oh, why do you want to do hairdressing? Like, I suppose I was afraid of what people were going to think. So I went to do media studies because that was the course that I really enjoyed in school. And I had a really great teacher, and it was the one, Mr.
Cousins. Yeah. Everyone loved Mr. Cousins.
Yeah, Mr. Cousins was great. What I didn't realise is that Mr. Cousins was great and not the topics, not the subjects. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
It plays a huge part in whatever you're doing.
Massive,
right?
Massive. I can fully understand that because I found that like the only two teachers that I actually got on well with at school were the only ones where my grades were going well. All the others, like they didn't like me, or we didn't get on, or whatever it was, and it just so happened I weren't doing well in those classes. So there's a lot to be said by having...
Plays a massive part, man.
Massive,
you and how they get through to you, and if they appreciate the way you learn and all the rest of it, right? So I went to college to do that and realised that it wasn't the course that I wanted to do. It wasn't that like media studies wasn't what I loved. Although maybe it was, but if I had a better teacher, maybe it was a person. And in that course, I remember sitting in that course and I was sat next to a friend of mine, a friend from school, his cousin. She just happened to be in the same class as me, and we were like, "Oh, is his cousin?" So we just hit it off, and she was cool, man. She was like a really good friend during the whole like college period, and she was like, and I remember sitting next to each other in this dead media class. The walls, it was just such a depressing place to be, and I was just like, you know what? I think I actually just want to go do hairdressing. And she was like, you know what? I think I want to go do that as well. I'm like, let's go do that, man.
Together.
So we went from Hertford Regional Broxbourne to Hertford Regional Ware. You could do that. You could like defer in the first 3 months of the course or something. And we went, and it was just such a brighter, more cheerier, more like, yeah, cool, this is what we're on type place.
Sort of environment.
Yeah. But then, like I said, after a little while of being in that first year, that I was just like, this is shit. Found a really good, like, salon to work in with a really good hairdresser to.
So you actually left college?
So I left college, went down to a 1 day a week just to get the MVQ, just to finish it.
Fair, yeah.
Albeit don't mean shit. In hands-on trades, they don't mean shit. Yeah. Any employer wants to see what you can do, right? Or they want to see your attitude. They want to see if you can be molded, if you can learn, if you can, if you've got that sort of, that knack.
The energy like that you care.
Yeah.
Because we even found like in our industry that people can have like all the qualifications in the world, but if they ain't got like the right attitude, like you mentioned, or like the desire to want to do something, then the qualifications don't carry you across the finish line. So
no, it's not a degree. It's not the same weight isn't put on a NVQ as it is a degree.
Yeah.
In terms of you're capable of doing this kind of work, or whatever.
I actually found some people that had less qualifications were more
qualified.
More competent in what they were doing. So but it's a big thing now. Like qualifications and making sure that you've got something to back up.
Yeah, and I always thought that that's what it was important to have. But given the hairdressing industry is actually not regulated, which is a good and a bad thing. Same with barbering. So there's no one, and what I mean by that is that it's not like a restaurant where someone's going to come, do certain checks, make sure people have got their, their hygiene. Their hygiene this, their MVQ that, or their qualifications or whatever.
Do they not have anything like that for barbering?
Man, that's why there's barbershops on every corner, because it's like anyone can buy 4 chairs and a shop and get a lease on a shop and just go, right, it's a barbershop.
That's surprising it's not regulated.
It is weird that it's not regulated. I kind of feel like obviously not being regulated makes my job running a business a lot easier.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
but also it being regulated would just cut out all these cowboys, which there are so many of. Yeah. And at the end of the day, not everyone cares about their haircut.
No, not
the cheaper one sometimes wins, which then can hurt a genuine business that actually wants to, do well by their people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So anyway, that's a tricky one. But yeah, we so I finished that, came out of that, did hairdressing for a little while longer, always at a junior level. So I never had like a chair with my own clients with women's hairdressing. Went into Tony and Guy from this guy Joe that I said. I was with him for like 2 years in a couple of different shops, and then went over to Tony and Guy. And Tony and Guy almost completely ended my career in hairdressing.
Serious?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because the Tony and Guy that I was in, and I met some really good people there. Some of which I still talk to here and there. But that particular shop was quite small. But it had about 24 staff in it. And it was like, Jesus. It was like gang warfare in there. Like,
it was chaos.
God.
Real chaos.
There was like some real senior people that used to just piss off the younger people. The younger people were all like fighting for attention. They'd come in some days and there'd be like girls crying on the stairs for whatever personal or professional reasons. But it was just like, it was
a toxic environment.
Well, I don't know toxic, but it was just chaos. Like, it was just nuts. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. And I was just like, I don't know if this is me, man.
Yeah.
Like, I was one of only, I was one of only 5 guys in the, like 5 males in the salon.
Right, okay.
Which wasn't an issue. But it definitely set you apart from your colleagues and stuff.
How so?
Well, just in terms of how like sometimes other people treated you or whatever, or did they think that you're good at your job? I don't know if that was a man or a woman thing, or if that was just because of we were juniors.
Yeah.
And then there was also a hierarchy in places like Tony and Guy. You only move up if someone else moves up as well. So when someone else moves up, then you can take their place, or if someone leaves, then you take their place. So it doesn't matter how hard you work. It's all about just is there space for you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is there space for you to take that position? And if it isn't, it's just like, well, you could be junior in for like 5 or 6 years, and I'm like, fuck that, I'm not here for that long.
Well, your face has got to fit. You got to be in the right clique with the right people.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
you're kind of fighting for your position. That
I didn't even give it enough time to figure out the politics in that sense.
Yeah,
but
fair.
I think you definitely could be right. Do you know what I mean about that kind of thing? But for me, I kind of just saw the environment. I was like, you know what, whether I'm junior or senior or whatever, I don't want to be in this environment. It's not for me. And barbering was something I was always still going home after all these. I'd work a whole day in a salon and then go home and cut my mate's hair until like 2 a.m.
Seriously?
Yeah, my dad would be going nuts. Because I was in the garage
playing all your music.
I was in the garage playing music, trying to create this atmosphere. Do you know what I mean? Having a laugh with my friends as well. But yeah, we'd be making noise, and it was in my parents' house, and but it was good, and it would happen. That's what I would do. That was like my life for a while.
I'm sure he appreciates it now, anyway. Like,
yeah, I think
considering where you are now.
Yeah. I mean, he, as much as he moaned about it at the time, he does kind of reflect and go, "You were really busy, man. Like you did one after another after another."
Yeah,
you know
it's incredible.
So he saw it. You know what I mean? But he just likes to like.
And we're always that hungry. Like working 2 a.m., you got to have a kind of specific sort of mindset for like your age that you was at, like working at that time. I suppose if you were having fun and having a good time, like balanced off with work, so it weren't too bad. But I
don't know. You know what? I never really. Hungry, yeah, I suppose, but like it was never really like a money thing. Like I was one of very few friends that was making money at that age. It wasn't a lot, but because no one else was making money, it was a lot. Yeah. So I suppose I appreciated that, and I saw it. I don't know. I'm not sure if it was like a huge incentive. I just enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, good.
I enjoyed the environment. I enjoyed the fact that I got to see friends, and there was that element
and
to it as well.
With everyone, yeah.
And also, like it's almost like especially when someone's really pleased with their haircut, like you get a bit of a rush, you get a bit of a buzz out of it. It's it's like a chef that wants their food to be eaten and wants people to say good things about their food. It's exactly the same sort of craft. Do you know what I mean in that sense? So
100%.
And the more encouragement you get, the better you want to do, and the more you want to do, and that kind of thing.
Keep reaching for that kind of like serotonin, like keep like.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, man. Maybe it was a bit of a drug type effect. I don't know. It was just something that I enjoyed as well. And was constantly being told I was good at, so it spurred me on to
nice, man,
to keep trying and keep doing it.
So what you you had left Tony and Guy at this point, and then where did you end off after that?
So I was just going into any barbershop that would have me, because at this point now I'm blagging it.
Well, really?
Like, I'm blagging it. Like I've cut a lot of my friends' hair in the shop. I know the etiquette of a salon, so I've learned how to be with clients, and I know how to treat people, I know how to talk to people, which came naturally to me anyway. I think definitely from my mum as well.
100%
she was that person.
Salon and
and I've been raised with it without even knowing. Do you know what I mean? And I saw her interact with people, and all this subconscious shit is all now like adding up. Do you know what I mean? So, but I wasn't as good as I thought I was.
Oh, really?
I was a bit more confident. It was more confidence than skill at this point.
And were you quite self-aware at the time to know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I mean, this was one thing that was said to me, and I think my mum said it again, was it's 20, they said it's 20% skill, 80% chat.
Right, is that really?
Yeah.
I've seen your post, man. There's more than 20%.
No. Now it's all skill.
Okay, fair.
Now it's all skill.
And all the chat's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Now don't chat to me.
Yeah.
No, but it's that was the one thing that was said, is that if you can talk your way through something, and if you can win someone over, then it don't really matter what you're doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you can blag it out.
Yeah,
it was
fair.
meant to be there, man.
Yeah.
Nah, what are you talking about? Yeah, it was always like that. You know what I mean? Like, you find it.
I hear you.
So I was going into like high street barbershops, asking if there was any working, and just figuring it out as I went. Copying the guy next.
Did you get much opportunity?
Yeah,
You did.
So I worked in. Where did I work? I worked in Enfield. Actually, the first barbershop I ever worked in was an Afro barbershop in Edmonton.
Wow, was it?
On Silver Street, yeah. So a friend of mine saw that I was looking, she knew that I was looking for work. She was like, I know these guys, these are old friends of mine from the block or whatever in Edmonton. They've just opened a barbershop, do you want to go? Went there, none of them knew what they were doing.
Even better.
None of them knew what they were doing.
Perfect.
I think they had a grow upstairs or something,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the shop
It was just
there.
a front shop.
Yeah, man. They had some old yardy barber from Tottenham High Road that come down. Like, he was like our guru, so we learned everything from him. But I was probably one of the better ones out of the gang there.
Because was your skill set like compatible with that type of?
Yeah, man. I was doing short hair, but like, Afro hair was not something that I'd really touched too tough.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I wasn't unfamiliar.
Right, fair.
But again, like I said, I was all confidence at that age. So it didn't matter. It didn't matter. I was going to you could have put anything in my hand and I would have been like, yeah, I'm king of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's wicked.
And then you start sweating when you try and do it. And you got like guys going, how long you been cutting hair, man? Like, while I'm cutting their hair, and I'm just like, oh, bro, leave me alone.
Yeah, I'm concentrating.
Let me get through this fucking trim. It's taking me like, I've been here 2.5 hours, but it's fine. So yeah, I started there. That went really well, surprisingly. And then I left there, went to a couple of barbershops in Enfield. And again, it was the same thing. You know, I'd be doing what I do, and someone would be like, oh, are you gonna do this bit? And I'm like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? And just you pick it up as you go along.
Yeah, it's just rinse and repeat.
Yeah, rinse and repeat. And then I worked with some really good. I ended up in a old Italian barbershop. These two Sicilian guys, and they were like my big brothers. I was there for like 2 years, and I learned a lot from them. Just from because I was only doing people my age. You know, I was only cutting guys that were like my age. Then all of a sudden, I had like these old boys, and they wanted like little blow dries and different little styles, but like all relative. Do you know what I mean? All like you have to know all this stuff.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? You have to know all the styles.
You got to be dynamic.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you got to be versatile with it. So I learned a lot there. Before I knew it, I had like queues out the door for me because it was a walk-in shop, so there weren't no appointments at any of these places. Then I had like a queue out the door for me there, so I was like, okay, cool. I'm doing well here. And then I wanted to climb this ladder that I thought there was of going into the West End and doing like really expensive haircuts.
Right.
You know, I thought the more I'm charging for a haircut, the bigger the man I am. Do you know what I'm saying?
Fair.
In my trade.
Yeah.
So I went into the city, and the city was an interesting place because the city you don't work weekends.
At all.
As a hairdresser or a barber, you don't work weekends. It's not like that anymore because the city's pretty buzzy now.
Yeah.
But back then, when it was just all office, it was just like a lot of office guys.
Monday to Friday.
It's Monday to Friday crowd, and on the weekends it was pretty dead.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so the shops wouldn't be open, or there'd be one person working in there or something. So that was cool.
Yeah, you got weekends back.
Yeah, I had like a Monday. Well, I had a Monday to Friday, but Saturdays I was booked out at home.
Oh.
So I ended up just working more. I was doing like 6 days a week.
That's wicked.
So again, like it's because I had a few Saturdays off, and I was like, having Saturdays off is kind of shit, man. Everything's so busy. Like I'd never had a Saturday off since I was young.
Yeah.
I was always working, even in the shop with my mum or whatever.
Yeah, I hear that.
And I was just like, you know what, it's fine. I can just work a few hours in the day, and then come evening, I'll finish up, and I'll still get to go out with my mates at whatever time they want to meet up. It was like that bit of self-employment had already started for me, and that was at like 20.
Yeah, exactly. You were doing it from young, weren't you? Like,
yeah, man. So I think at that point, when I got to that stage, I was about 20, 21. And then I moved into, there was this shop that opened up in the West End called Gentleman's Tonic, and they were real high end, £65 a haircut or something mad.
back then as well.
Yeah. So now it's like £80, £90 a haircut.
Wow.
But yeah, so, and we had all the barbers had their own offices. Like literally we had I had a door.
Oh,
To
that level,
to a little room. The room
That
had a
sort of
TV, got whiskies, got Bloody Marys.
Wow.
It was also grooming. There was male grooming there, so massages, facials, waxing, that kind of stuff. And they were in Selfridges, Mayfair, Savile Row. Then after 2 years of working with them in that place, in Selfridges, I was the guy in Selfridges. I kind of quickly became the head barber there that would do events and do, talk to whoever.
I love how you've always had that kind of hunger, that ambition, because it's like every place that you've gone to has been like a bit like...
The thing is, where I started so young, everyone would always assume that I didn't know what I was doing. So it was always so important for me to put across that I am the guy.
Yeah, right. I hear you.
Do you know what I mean? And that's where that came from, because everyone was always trying to tell me I wasn't. So I'm like, I am the guy.
Yeah, you were telling
whether
yourself.
I am or not.
Yeah, you were your number one fan.
Yeah. I kind of had to be, because no one else was doing
100%.
it. And then it was, as you kind of get going and if you've got that confidence and you're showing someone like, bro, listen, you're in good hands, man. Don't worry about it, man. They're going to be like, you're the guy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's fine.
He's like, he's the guy.
Yeah, it is. That's it. And that's just how it steamrolled. And then, the skill caught up because I wanted it. I was working so hard anyway. I was putting the hours in.
And you never kind of let, like, when you were getting it wrong, you never let that hold you back. You just wanted to keep getting better and better.
Yourself, do you know what I mean? You never let it, like, bring you down a notch.
Were there any
at the end of the day, when you're putting that many hours in, you're not going to be bad.
No,
it's impossible. If you're working that much, it's only ever going to get better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there was never any gaps. There was never any. I never took like a year off to go traveling. I never did anything like that.
Was there ever a moment in time when you were like, "Oh, this is getting too much"? Or no, you was just on it all the time.
Yeah, I was on it.
Yeah,
so I just saw progress.
Yeah,
saw more money. I saw more
opportunity.
I saw better places to work. I was meeting new people.
Your skills were developing as well.
Skills were developing. There was nothing there for me to go, fuck this.
I'm
out this anymore.
Because I can imagine, like in that sort of like barbershop you were working at, like there was a high standards. Like when you're charging £80 for a haircut and stuff like that, it's like that's setting the bar high.
You know what? You say that, but once I got there, I realised that the people working there, because that's what I thought. I thought going there, I'm going to be working with the best of the best. And there was one guy there that was really good, and he did a lot of shows, and he brought me into a lot of shows, and I met a lot of really cool people from him. But the majority of the people working there were just quite very professional people. Right. They weren't necessarily really good. They were just good at the yes sir, no sir sort of stuff.
The chat.
Well, or not the chat.
Or not that, yeah.
Knowing when to shut up kind of thing.
Right.
Because it was more about the postcode of the shop and the whiskey and the environment of the place than it was about the barber.
Yeah.
So the barbers all dressed in black and they were just a part of the furniture kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Until I turned up.
And major stamp.
Yeah.
So you ended up becoming manager there?
Well, no, I was head barber. So I was just like the top barber there.
Right, okay.
The managers of them shops, because we were all in our own rooms, the managers of those shops would always be the receptionists, just because they could oversee the shop.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, whoever can oversee the shop better and is looking at the appointments is the best person to be the manager.
So what does it mean to be like a head barber in a place like that?
Head barber just means that I'm the preferred one for people to go.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And if there's any events, because the barbershop had its own product range.
Okay.
So we used to do events. So we'd put a barber chair somewhere and like animate a space and try and sell products or introduce our products to like a hotel, for example. Like I went to Copenhagen a few times because the products got put into hotels. So I went over there to do shaves and teach either the staff of the place that the products were in or passers-by.
That's
how
incredible.
to do stuff. So I was the guy that went and did all that sort of stuff.
That sounds like quite a cool experience.
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool. And then they asked me to go to Hong Kong.
Right.
Actually, this was the one only ever time that I wanted to do something else, where I was just like, maybe I should try something else. I've done the whole, like I've worked my way up this ladder from Edmonton to Selfridges.
Yeah, 100%.
I thought maybe I want to. Someone told me about being a fireman.
Oh, so completely different career altogether.
Completely different altogether. Well, I say that. So someone told me about a fireman's schedule, And the fireman's schedule is 4 days on, 4 days off.
Yeah, I've heard this.
Right? And I thought, that's sick. I could do that and still
do
cut
the
hair.
barbering, 100%.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And not have to let go either and cake it.
Yeah, that's right, 100%.
So
that's what others do, to be fair. I think they generally take some sort of trade up and then like juggle the two, essentially.
Yeah. So I think the guy I knew was a painter decorator when he was also a fireman.
Right, nice.
So I was like, this could be all right. And I could still do what I need to do and freelance with the hairdressing, the barbering stuff, and then do that. And then as I got the stack of paper to fill out for the fireman was like on my desk, and I went to do it. And then they asked me to go to Hong Kong for a week, and I was like, fuck these papers.
Yeah, I'm going to Hong Kong.
Let me go Hong Kong.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Went to Hong Kong for a week.
Was that a no-brainer for you? Was it?
Yeah, because it wasn't like I wasn't moving there at that time. They just asked me to go.
Yeah.
They'd opened up a shop there. They wanted me to do a mall visit, a newspaper, a news channel, and to train the staff. So I had some.
That's incredible. That's a great opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, and I had things to do while I was there for the 7 days that I was there, right?
Brilliant.
So I went out, did all of them, smashed all of them. Manager there loved me. Had a sick time. Hong Kong is a mad place.
Really?
Mad place. And it's just like a really condensed, really happy, everyone's doing, like when someone says they're going to do something, they do it. And everyone's there at the top of their game. Do you know what I mean? Whether they're in IT or a lawyer or whatever, like they've been brought out there to do what they need to do. And the culture there as well.
The people were like really warming, were they?
The food was amazing. Like there's beaches there. You've got, and then you've got all the other countries that are like only a few hours away. There's that element of it as well. You're like right in the middle of Asia being in Hong Kong. But Hong Kong itself anyway, that first trip, that week there was amazing. Okay. And I got taken out every night by the manager and by the other team, the staff that were there. And they like really showed me a good time and really showed me around. They were super hospitable. And I came back just thinking, sick. Had a wicked time.
Exactly.
When do I get to do that again? Do you know what I mean?
So
and they were gonna. I think the next trip was sending me to Paris to do something similar, to do like another product launch or some shit. And then I think about, I don't know, it must have been a few weeks after I'd come back, and they offered me a full-time job in Hong Kong. But the manager out there really liked me. She was struggling a bit with the team because she wasn't a hairdresser or a barber. She was from like a hotel industry. She was like from 5-star hotels, like a manager. So she needed someone that was on her side, but that could address the team. So she wanted me to come out there to be an OM, to operations manager.
That's brilliant.
To go and help run that shop.
And was that a no-brainer for you?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, at the same, I negotiated a bit because they tried to take the piss.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But remember, the owner of this company is like ex-hedge fund, so he's not got anyone's interests in mind other than himself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's a money guy.
Yeah.
And it was never personal. Do you know what I mean? I kind of always knew where I stood with him.
It's negotiating anyway. You got to make sure you're getting the best deal for yourself.
And this is So it wasn't like a no-brainer, but it was young. Like a great offer.
Was
22? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
as well.
that's,
So
that is young.
Shit, like not only are you asking me to go here, but you're asking me like it's quite a big position to take on as well, like managing a shop.
Was there any time like that was the job like for any period of time, or was it just open-ended?
Up to 5 years.
Up to 5 years, yeah.
Because I was on a work visa. They were sponsoring me. All that was covered.
Oh, so it was all taken care of.
All my housing was covered. Like it was all like some big package type thing,
That's wicked.
So yeah, it was. But I had no desire to leave London. I was loving Selfridges. I was loving London. My family, my friends are here. I had no desire to do that. Like, it wasn't like, I need to go travelling or whatever.
Right.
It was just a good deal.
Opportunity at the time.
Good opportunity, good deal to go and do. And yeah, it would have been ridiculous to say no to.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, like, if you're going to do anything, I mean, like I said, I feel like I've always been quite aware of where I am at my life at each stage. And when I was 22, I was like, I ain't got no wife, I ain't got no kids, I ain't got no house, I ain't got no... Do you know what I mean? If I'm going to do something like this now, I'm going to... this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
I never went to uni, so I never had that opportunity to live away from home the way like a lot of my mates did with
This
uni.
was your version of that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I
but
suppose.
like on steroids.
Yeah.
And making money. Like all my mates that went to uni were broke. They couldn't do nothing. You know what I mean?
I know. That is the problem with uni. Like where people can go like 3-4 years, whatever it is.
Yeah, you're living like a tramp.
Yeah, yeah.
But with this, it was kind of the same, but also very different and like a very adult
Environment.
opportunity, and you know all the stuff that came with it, man. So yeah, I went and did that, and had a great 2.5 years, just living it.
Just working in this new place and help building it up.
Yeah, help building it up. Again, did more of what I did when I went the first week, so like media stuff and all that kind of stuff. Trained people, met a lot of VIPs, all that kind of stuff. The shop was excellent. The location of the shop was excellent. Travelled quite a bit of Asia as well.
Did you?
Yeah, man. Vietnam was an hour and a half away. Thailand's 2 hours away.
Oh,
Japan was 4 hours away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Philippines was 4 hours. Like it was just you take advantage of where you're at.
Did you get much time off, like when you was over there, or?
I probably looking back on it, I probably should have taken more.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I've always been quite work focused, man. Do you know what I mean?
Well, when you've been working from like 14 years old with that sort of mindset, mum, like
always taking my work quite seriously. Like
Yeah.
I'd never go out on the lash before a morning, before a busy day.
Yeah.
You know, whereas a lot of people I know would be like, oh, fuck it, man, come, you know, don't worry, you'll be all right, have a shower. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
100%.
mate, I'm not doing
that.
it. Like, I've got a hold of blade and scissors and clippers to people's heads. I'm not doing it all mash up.
Yeah, I think I was...
Once or twice I did it and it was hell.
Yeah,
I ain't
exactly.
doing this again.
I know. I was quite hungover on a podcast episode once, and it was like, I ain't ever doing that ever again, to be honest. So
why do it?
Nah, I hear that. Especially when you're passionate about what you do and you enjoy it, like you want to get the best outcome like from what you're doing. You don't want to be the reason why someone has a dead haircut or something like that.
Or someone complains, or someone, do you know what I mean? And then you're like, you've only got yourself to blame, and being angry at yourself is like the worst thing ever. So it's like I just avoided that kind of thing.
Fair.
But yeah, looking back on it, I maybe should have taken advantage a bit, just taken advantage a bit more. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
But I'm also someone that doesn't ever like to leave anywhere on bad terms. You know what I mean? Not like don't burn any bridges type thing. And that's something that I've always, I don't know who told me that once, but it stuck with me. I think we all get told that at some point. But yeah, there's no need to do it. Do you know what I mean? There's, you know, you stay professional until the last day, and you move on.
Was there a moment? Was there something that might have caused you to want to burn bridges at one point?
Nah, not at all. Not at all. I think I fell out of love with the company.
Did you? Right.
Just the way that they were doing things, but that was not their fault.
Yeah, fair.
They've always been doing what they were doing, and I've always appreciated it. It's one of the reasons why I went to them. But it's just I kind of grew out of it a little bit.
Yes.
I wanted a bit more. You know what it was? So during the time you said you see my YouTube stuff, right? So that video with all the views on YouTube, that was done by my friend Miguel.
Right.
The Nomad Barber.
I've seen his name flying around.
Big boy in the industry. He's literally connected so many of us. He's like the yellow pages for barbers, right?
He's got a massive following, actually.
Massive following. He done 2 world tours documenting barbers in different barbershops all around the world, and how they're different, but how we're all the same. It's a really beautiful concept, right? And like a really great YouTube channel idea. So he was on his first tour. So we met in London. Me and Miguel met
originally.
in London, yeah.
Right.
We met in London. He was about to go do this thing. I was about to move to Hong Kong. Like we were both going to do these huge projects. So he left. He was halfway around the world. I was, I don't know if I was a year or 6 months into Hong Kong. And then we were talking Facebook or whatever it was, or Instagram. I think Instagram had kind of like just been born at that time.
Right.
And he was doing it all on YouTube. His whole thing was a YouTube channel. So he messaged me and was like, I'm in India, but I'm coming to Hong Kong. Can me and Mike, his cameraman, can we stay with you? I'm like, yeah, man, of course.
Brilliant.
And he was like, he was only doing like a week or 4 or 5 days in each place because he was on a budget.
Yeah.
So he came and
he
ended up staying with me for like 2 weeks just because it was the one place he didn't have to pay for. And it was a fun place and it was good to see him and all the rest. And I had the space for him, so whatever. And so he came, but he was like, obviously we're going to film. So he did like the Hong Kong episode. He went and filmed a local Chinese barber in like a back alley somewhere, and then he filmed me and did like the whole interview and the perfect shave. That
Yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
And so you got to remember at that time of us filming that, we didn't know what that was going to be. Like, we were just two mates having a laugh, as you can see from the video. Like, as much as I'm professionally talking to the shave,
right.
we are having a laugh.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
We are having a laugh. I'm not taking it that seriously.
You was young as well, weren't you?
Yeah,
like,
man, you can tell.
You can tell you was young.
I don't
as
know
well.
why I shaved my beard right before that.
Did you? Yeah.
But yeah, we were young, man. We were both 22,
Having fun.
Yeah, having fun. Like, I hadn't seen my mate in ages, and it was wicked. You know what I mean? We just did this video, didn't know it was going to blow up the way it did. Ended up blowing up. He'd gone to a couple of shops in Singapore before this, and the whole barber resurgence was happening at this time. So all of these really cool tattooed barbers and really cool kids were just opening barbershops now and wanting to cut hair, right? So, and this was happening big in Singapore. Like, Singapore is such a small city, country, island place, right? But they jump on subculture like mad.
Oh, okay.
So like, you would never think it, but there's like a hardcore scene out there. There's a rap scene out there. There's a fucking tattoo scene out there.
Oh, wicked.
There's a barber scene. And it's like, you just don't expect it coming from, especially if you don't know it's there, but it's there. It's in the undercurrent of it all. Is it right? So he'd gone and met some really cool guys out there. These 2 different barbershops out there. And they saw me on Instagram and on YouTube, and I saw them on Instagram and YouTube. So we connected through those platforms. And was like, really love what you're doing, man. You're great as well. Can you, like, I said, I'm going to come out to Singapore. Singapore was like one of the only countries in the area that I hadn't done yet. And everyone was telling me, yeah, you got to go to Singapore, it's sick. Went to Singapore, linked up with these guys, I think I did a few days working in one shop and a few days working in another shop, which actually ended up being huge training sessions for these guys. Because it turns out, these don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Really? Yeah, just
they've got the great shops. They've got wicked shops, and they're all mates. They were all friends from wherever they were friends from. But in terms of like actually cutting hair and shaving and beards, like they were blagging it. They were doing what I was doing.
Yeah, all them years
when
ago.
I started. Yeah, exactly. So I was like, pay attention. Do you know what I mean? Like, and they did though. They were super hungry. I'd be cutting hair thinking that I'm just doing a normal day's work. We were guest spotting. So this was something that started to happen with barbers, like doing guest spots, which is something we took from like the tattoo trade. So like tattoo artists would go and work in different tattoo shops around the world in order to travel and make money around the world. Right. And also grow their following and grow their business. So barbers started doing it, and I definitely jumped on that culture of guest spotting in different shops. So I was like, you can see because of Instagram now, you can see what kind of barber I am. You can see this is my level. Can I come work in your shop while I'm on holiday on my own? Because to be honest, I'd rather go work in the shop than do this shitty tourism stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go make some friends, talk to some cool people, and then afterwards we'll go for dinner together. And on the weekends we'll go do some stuff. And I've got a group of mates.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying?
That's cool. Yeah. I like that.
So I'd be doing a normal haircut, thinking I'm just working a column in a shop. And I'll turn around, it'll be like 20 people, 30 people behind me. Yeah, like watching,
taking notes,
filming.
Yeah, really.
I was like, okay, sick.
Wow.
And I became really good friends with these 2 shops out there. And I tell you what brought it home for me was seeing how these guys were interacting with each other. These were all mates. They were like, they were having a laugh. They were like, you know, not being unprofessional, but, you know, throwing stuff at each other. Having
fun.
Just having fun, man. But still catering to their clients. And bearing in mind, I'd been 4 years in a private room.
Yeah.
Thinking that I'm the man and I'm at the top of my trade and da-da-da-da-da. And I was just like, I ain't. It don't matter what you're charging, and it don't matter what kind of room you're in.
It's about the energy.
Yeah, man. If you're not in this thing with people that you want to be with, and if you're not having fun and you're not smiling every day,
what are you doing?
And you're not learning as well, because I'm not learning from anything being in a room by myself. Do you know what I mean? Then why am I doing this?
Yeah.
If I'm not like that, all that stuff that I saw in my mum's salon 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? All them years back. I'm not doing that anymore. I've found myself in this corporate environment of barbering, and I'm like, why am I? This isn't for me. This is not what I want to do anymore. And those shops in Singapore really inspired me to come back home and either, open my own thing, or
work in the right environment.
Or work in the right environment.
Yeah.
Which I would have to do before I opened my own thing anyway.
Right, fair.
And then
So what you ended up coming back from Singapore, did you?
yeah, so I went back to Hong Kong because that was just a holiday from Hong Kong. Singapore.
Right, yeah.
Came back from Hong Kong, and then I got news that my mum had had a heart attack, and I was like, okay, and she was fine. Like they told me after it happened, and my mum drove herself to the fucking hospital, man. Like,
oh, really?
She's a soldier, yeah, man.
Yeah, fair.
So it wasn't that serious. I think it was more of a wake up call. Regardless, it had happened, and it really put things into perspective for me in terms of
what's important to you.
Yeah, man, and like, fuck, I'm actually really far away from home. Like FaceTiming and WhatsApping, like just don't cut it when something like that happens. You know what I mean?
You feel very helpless, don't you? Like,
you feel helpless, but you also feel like it also like hits home as to where you should be. You know what I mean? I hadn't really solidified my life in Hong Kong. You know what I mean? I hadn't met a girl that I was like settled down with out there or anything like that. I hadn't opened up a business, although I was looking at it at the time. I was looking at opening a shop in Hong Kong, but I hadn't done any of these things yet. And then that stuff happened with my mum, and I was just like, okay, I need to go home, because if I do open a shop, one, I need to be home. I need to be near the family. I've always been quite family orientated. You know, we're both from Cyprus. Our families.
Yeah,
100%.
So yeah,
we get it. It's that is what it is. But also, if I'm going to open a business, who do I want to share that experience with, and who do I want to share those wins with? Do you know what I mean? Is it a bunch of strangers in Hong Kong that don't really care, or is it my people back home?
But you got to be very, very careful who you get into business with in life, I think.
Yeah, there's that as well, yeah.
You know, some people can, like, you share core values with and enjoy that passion together. But if people have different motives, let's say, then sometimes it can cause a bit of friction and tension.
Yeah,
so.
and Hong Kong, there was no way of opening up a business without... there was no way of opening up a business without getting into business with some maybe horrible landlords or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean that even happened to me here, do you know what I mean? But out there, definitely.
It was in unknown territory.
Yeah. But I just thought if I'm gonna open a business, I want it to be an institute. I want it to be somewhere long standing. I don't want to open and close doors after 4 or 5 years because of short lease terms. Which is what the case was in Hong Kong. Like everyone's on a short lease. Like it turns over so much out there. Very transient city.
Too volatile.
Yeah, well, just very transient, man. Like one minute something's doing really well, the landlord will see that, up the rent. Next thing, that person can't be there anymore, and then they move to somewhere else, and then that location is not it.
Right.
So I was aware of all of that, so I knew what territory I was in. But then when all this other stuff happened, I was just like, no, I think I need to go home and. One, just be at home, and then just see what happens from there on in.
Yeah, it's fair, man. You've like, one thing I've like noted from your story so far is how kind of self-aware you were. You know, like it was almost like when you knew exactly when it was the right moment to change and do something different.
Yeah, you
saw it for what it was, and you actually did that as well. Which, you know, a lot of people like even working jobs they don't even want to do these days. Let alone somebody going on that journey and being like, "Oh, I've outgrown this, or I'm ready to try this out and do this." So it's quite an awareness like that. It's quite unique. I'd like to think to be.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I like to think that everyone's like that, but
that conscious,
yeah, or like at least making good decisions for themselves. But like you said, we both met, and I think everyone meets people that are in like places, jobs, positions that they're in that they don't want to be in, but for some reason they can't.
Yeah,
they can't make the change. Whether it's
make the change
for whatever reasons. Everyone's got their reasons, and everyone walks their own path. But like, you like to think that hopefully people have one day have the courage or the means to break out of it and do what feels right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so then that was you coming back from Hong Kong then?
So that was me coming back from Hong Kong. Came back from Hong Kong, and then all of a sudden ended up back in Hong Kong because I got asked to go and teach at a shop for 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I went back out. Like literally come home, was home for a few months, just chilling. Working privately, like I said, that whole Instagram and social media thing had popped off. So when I came back home, loads of a sudden loads of people wanted haircuts from me.
That's really good.
So I was like, that was the first sign of the power of social media.
Yeah.
And what that can do for my trade. Because I remember being with one of my mates in Hong Kong, and I'm cutting his hair, and he's a tattoo artist from Poland, and I'm cutting his hair, and he's like, man, you need to jump on this Instagram. And I'm like, brother, I do not take pictures of my lunch. Why do I need Instagram? Because that's what Instagram was when it first popped up. It was just people taking dumb pictures.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't take pictures of my... And he was like, nah. He goes, listen, I'm from Poland. I'm in Hong Kong, fully booked. He was like, bad, 80% of my work comes from Instagram.
Yeah. It's all free marketing though, isn't it?
But that's what it is. But it's also the world at your fingertips as well, right? So I was like, okay, maybe you've got a point. So I started posting haircuts and stuff on Instagram, and then all that YouTube shit happened and stuff. And then I come home and I've got a fully booked column in the garage. My dad's going nuts. But like, it kept me afloat, you know what I mean? And 100%. I was back home. You know what I mean? It was what it was. But yeah, I ended up back out there for a couple of weeks.
Was that just a no-brainer to go back out there?
Yeah, man, it was a highly paid teaching gig. So
was it?
Just like, yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
And also I get to go see all my mates in Hong Kong again.
Yeah.
I was one of the first out of the big group, out of like the group of mates that I had in Hong Kong. Everyone's back now. Like no one that I'm still in contact with is still living in Hong Kong.
Right.
Again, like I say, people come and go from Hong Kong so much. So I went back, did a couple of weeks training with this barbershop out there. Saw my friends, partied a little bit, whatever, come home. Got asked again to go Singapore, 3 months now for the same sort of gig. Went out there, did that, came home. And then I was like, I got to stop doing this because this is not who I want to be. I don't want to be this traveling barber teacher that helps everyone else set up their shops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to do it for myself.
That makes sense.
So I thought I've got to like just start saying no to this shit if it comes up again. And then...
So a month later, you was back in Hong Kong.
Yeah. And then I sat still for a bit, got a shop in... started working for a shop called Rocket, and they were based in Hackney, on Hackney Road. Went up there, was there 4 days a week and 1 day at home because I was really busy at home still.
So why Rocket? Like, why did you go there specifically?
So Rocket was... When I came back, Rocket was the one shop that reminded me of those cool shops in Singapore.
Right.
Like, they had identity, they had personality, they had attitude.
Character.
Yeah, they had character, they had all that sort of stuff. And the guys working in there were all super cool, really good at what they did. But like just super cool cats, you know what I mean? Just like proper people that I could get on with, you know. And I met the owners, super cool guys. It was funny because when I met them in the interview, it was weird. It was the first time again that this whole Instagram stuff was like paying off kind of thing, I suppose, because I'd met them and I was like, I've seen you guys on Instagram, and they were like, we've seen you on Instagram, and I was like, oh, sick.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, we definitely want to work together. Like they were like, yeah, we'd be happy to have you. When can you start? Whatever. And they were like, and I said, well, I can only do a few days with you because you're a bit far from home for me.
Where were you living with mum and dad?
Yeah, I was in Wichmore Hill. Yeah, so I was just like, you're a bit far from me, but I can do like 3-4 days. And they were like, oh, you're in North London, yeah? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, oh, we're opening our second shop in North London. And I was like, yeah, where? And he was like, oh, we can't tell you. And I was like, tell me, man. I was like, where? Because I knew I was going to open a shop soon.
Right.
I just knew that I wanted to work with these guys in the meantime.
Fair.
And he was like, nah, keeping it all hush. And I was just like, tell me. He was like, Stoke Newington. I was like, fuck off. Where in Stoke Newington? And he was like, I was like, tell me, man. He was like, on the high street. I was like, fuck off the high street. That's where my mum's salon is.
Right.
And I knew that eventually, once my mum hung the scissors up, like I was taking that shop.
Yeah.
I didn't know when it was going to be.
Right. But you always envisioned that, yeah?
Yeah, well, we knew it was happening.
Yeah.
My mum owns the salon, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it made sense.
Owns the premises, so we knew it was going to happen. Just didn't know when. Because my mum she went back to work after the health stuff.
Right.
She was fine, and rightly so. She wanted to prove to herself that she was good, and you know everything else. And it was important that she did that. But we just didn't know when the retirement was going to come. So I told them, I was like, look, this is the situation. If you still want me to work with you guys, if you don't want me to work with you guys,
you understand
because you're basically employing your competition eventually. And they were like, we don't care about that. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I was like, sick, you guys are wicked.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there doesn't have to be animosity between shops.
Nah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
Or with any competition, really.
Yeah, man. Like, nothing's competition. We all got it. How many people are in London, man? We can all eat.
Yeah.
That's how I've always seen it. Unless someone's a snake.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They want too much food for themselves.
Yeah, but unless someone just goes about it wrong. You know, like we were talking about earlier about when you leave companies.
Yeah, and burning bridges.
Burning bridges and all the rest of it. Like, if you're a prick about it, then yeah, cool. There's going to be animosity. There's going to be bad blood. But if you're not and you're cool and you appreciate that London's a huge place, enough for everyone to do well in, and bounce off, may I add?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It makes sense.
It doesn't have to be bad. So, and that's how these guys took it. And I knew that's how that these guys were good guys. So I worked in Hackney Road for a little bit. When they opened up the Stoke Newington shop, they actually even put me in the Stoke Newington shop. Wow. So I was working there for about a year. And then I was in Poland doing another guest spot at another really cool shop.
Oh wow, still getting about.
Yeah, man, still in Krakow. Again, connected with this shop that was out there, really cool guys. Went out, I haven't been to Krakow. I've done 3 days out there working, met the guys, they took me out. Sick. I'm in my hotel, get a phone call from one of the owners of Rocket, and he was like, bro, we've just found a shop on Hackney Road, but like at the top of Hackney Road near Shoreditch, like near Shoreditch Church and Browns and all that. And I was like, and he was like, yeah, we found a shop. And I trust these guys, like these guys are really nice people and they've made really good decisions for themselves. So they're telling me they found a shop on Hackney Road. Do I want it? And I'm like, is it good? And they're like,
for you?
For me.
Oh, for you.
Yeah,
right,
for me.
Right,
like,
okay, yeah.
Because they knew that I was ready to open it.
Okay, wow.
Out of all the team that was there, they knew that I was ready to run a business, given everything, you know. And plus, we'd been watching each other for the last couple of years on Instagram and stuff. So they're like, do you want it? And I was like, if you say it's good, I'm in, I'm all in. And they were like, it's good. I was like, get the keys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I literally come back from Hong Kong and started ripping out this shop with the guys. It was, sorry, not Hong Kong, Poland. Came back from Poland and started ripping out this shop and just started getting into it. And it was like, literally couldn't have been, but it was such a it was a dodgy deal, this, and I didn't know until I got it. So bearing in mind, that these boys are from Nottingham,
right,
and they I suppose they don't know the communities in London too well, and also they weren't being prejudiced or anything, which is good of them.
Yeah.
Whereas I would have been like, this dodgy bastard.
You got to be a bit wise. You got to be a bit wise.
You got to be wise. Exactly. That's all it is. So he's got it. I've met the landlord once I'm there, and I'm like, boys, are you sure about this?
Yeah.
Because he had dodgy
the energy.
all over.
Yeah, the energy was
and
off.
you know what the deal was with the shop? The deal with the shop was, there was this huge desk. So you walked in, it was only a small little narrow shop here, and there was this huge plywood desk right at the door, proper eyesore. We're not allowed to move that desk. I said, why? Basically, you're sharing the shop with people. I'm like, what do you mean I'm sharing the shop? The whole shop's kitted out, Barbershop. Chairs, all my artwork everywhere, prices on the wall. But this big desk I can't move. So what do you mean I'm sharing the shop? Well, these lot run minicabs.
Oh God!
These lot run minicabs.
So you can have a minicab
from 8 p.m. till 5 in the morning, Wednesday to Saturday.
Right.
But 5 days a week but in the daytime it's not doing anything, this shop. So my hours were 11 till 8. So from 11 till 8 it was me. When I was finishing up and closing up, these boys would come in and sit at this desk, and the shop would be open like 24 hours.
4 hours, yeah, definitely.
It was like literally right slap bang in the middle of Shoreditch.
I mean, it's not an ideal situation.
Not at all.
No. Did you still go with it, or?
Well, we already had it. At this point.
So.
And I was just like,
you only found out after?
Yeah, I found out after, and I was just like, they were like, yeah, but it's not a big deal. These guys are cool, and I'm like, bro, like, it's kind of a big deal. Do you know what I mean? It's my first shop, and also it wasn't a Rocket. It was This is when Cuts and Bruises was born.
Oh, so it was all your entity as well.
It's all me. These boys are literally just like business partners at this stage.
Did you actually name it Cuts and Bruises?
Yeah. So I came up with Cuts and Bruises. I came up with a name in Poland.
Right. Well, how did you come up with the name?
I don't know, man. It just felt right. It just It just felt right, given everything.
If you don't pay the bill, you're going to leave with Cuts and Bruises.
Yeah, all that. Like, do you know what I mean? But no, it just felt right. It represented. I suppose it represented the come up and I wanted this tattoo element to it as well. So I was sick of barbershops looking like barbershops. I wanted my barbershop to look like a tattoo parlor. Because every tattoo parlor I went into was sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all the decor, all the little trinkets.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, man. So I was just like, I'm sick of barbershops looking like fucking just like movie posters everywhere, you know, dead stuff like that. I was like, I kind of wanted to have
some
this
flavour.
I wanted to be another one of my passions that I'm not doing. Do you know what I mean? But I can put it on the walls. I've run out of room on my body, so I'll put it on the walls, right? So, so this is where Cuts and Bruises was born. So it wasn't under the Rocket brand. It wasn't, you know, it was my thing. I'm not saying that these guys were snaky at all. I think they thought it was all quite innocent.
Oh, right, okay, dude. It's fair.
But it weren't innessent, bro.
Nah. What having dodgy cab?
Dodgy cabs. They were proper dodgy cabs as well. The landlord tried to, you know, without getting into it too much, the landlord tried to up my rent after the first 6 months.
Yeah, did he?
And be like, oh yeah, I can't be here anymore, mate. So your rent's gonna have to go up. And I'm like, get fucked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You can't just drop a bombshell.
Yeah, like I'm midway through business. You kind of waited for me to get to a point where business is good. I've got all chairs running. Everyone's busy. Do you know what I mean? And now you're telling me, oh, I can't run my cabs from here anymore, so your rent's got to go up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're a cunt.
Yeah, that ain't.
Do you know what I mean? You're a prick. So I found another shop in Hoxton.
Yeah,
on Hoxton,
that wasn't even negotiable for you, was it?
Nah, I was like, fuck off.
Yeah,
no way am I bending over to this. At one point, we were gonna buy the shop off him, like buy the lease.
Oh, the actual lease. Okay.
But we could only do it in dribs and drabs, and he couldn't do anything with dribs and drabs. So he was like, nah. And plus, I did not want to give this guy any money as well. I just fuck you. Do you know what I mean? Even if I had the money, I don't.
You still didn't even want. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
All the moves he was making.
Yeah, man. So like, I wanted to cut clean from him. So. Found another shop in Hoxton, on Hoxton Street, near the post office down there. And it was a similar size to the one that I had. And it was like, 10-minute walk from where I was? And I was like, yeah, set up the thing, set up the arrangement thing so that it can try and be a clear, like a transition.
Yeah.
And then I don't really like telling my parents about my business moves.
You don't?
No, I tell them after.
Yeah. Because
I don't want too much insight.
Yeah,
I don't want too much.
Yeah,
Trying to find every fucking problem with it.
Yeah, 100%.
So I tell him after. So I call my dad. I let him know what's going on.
Was that the right thing to do in your opinion? Tell him after.
Yeah. I told him after. I mean, I hadn't got the shop in Hoxton yet. I just set it up, and I call him, and I'm like, "This has happened with this fucking guy at this shop. He's up my rent. He's." And he's like, I told you about these. Right, cool.
Good old
Don't need that right now. Though,
yeah,
you know
yeah, good old dad.
But listen, I found this other shop. Should be a quite smooth transition. It's fine. He's like, don't do nothing. What do you mean, don't do nothing? Don't do nothing. Your mum's gonna retire. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, I don't want to push her out. Do you know what I'm saying? Or put any pressure.
Yeah, I hear that. Like, retire your mum.
This is shit. What's happened? He was like, listen, it's gonna happen next year, anyway. He was like, it don't matter, we do it now. He was like, it makes sense.
Oh, wow, really?
He was like, it makes sense. And I'm like, yeah, it does make sense. But also, like, 100% it makes sense.
Was your mum all right with it, though?
Yeah, listen, my mum's salon was not the salon it was 20, 30 years prior. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's a tough industry, man.
But it's also like, there takes a certain energy to keep a shop at a certain, you know, in keeping with the times and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that had died a little bit.
Right.
My mum still loves hair. And still does it here and there. But I think in terms of running the business and in terms of what it's a big shop. It's a big shop as well. It's not some little 2-chair shop.
But it's a lot. It's like when you're like, you even said it earlier about like, you've got to do the admin, you got to do this, you got to do that. Like, it's not just sitting there cutting people's hair, for example.
You can do the job very simply.
Yeah,
you can do it very simply,
exactly.
very black and white. But if you want it to make you substantial money and be a proper business that you can walk away from as well,
on it, like,
yeah, bro, you got to be on it. And I think that just dies down a little bit as you get maybe a bit older, or maybe it was never there in the first place. Either way, this was the situation.
I'm sure it was.
I'm sure. Yeah, I think I remember a time back in the day when I was younger and there was like 6, 7, 8 people working.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was buzzing. Do you know what I mean?
Fair.
But yeah, whatever. We're at where we're at this stage.
So you retired your mum, basically.
Yeah, I kicked her out. Get out.
Oh, bless
now.
her. Yeah. And then you took over.
I gutted the whole place. Yeah. Gutted the whole gaff, basement and shop, and turned it into Cuts and Bruises, what it is now. Literally moved it overnight. Left this guy with nothing. I told him, I was like, I said, here's your notice. When I'm gone, I'm gone. That's it. And I literally, me and all the boys and the removals guy that I had, all 3 chairs overnight. Moved it into the new shop.
Didn't take his table, no.
Yeah, fucking smashed that thing up. Took everything, moved it into the new shop, and literally opened up the next day.
Wow.
Started. So all the clients that we had, we just sent messages.
So much for not burning bridges like this one.
That fat bridge could burn. Yeah, man, there's some bridges
it should burn.
Wish you'd never come across. You know what I mean? But you know what? It all is mad because it all worked out. My sister had and her husband had a baby. I think the year after. So like that 2017 as well, the 2018. So my parents were ready for that. My dad had already retired.
What did your dad do?
My dad was he worked for Haringey Council.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so he was already a year retired. My sister had just fell pregnant. My mum needed to retire, one for her health, and two to now look after the grandkids.
Yeah.
You know
Which
I mean?
I'm sure she took great joy in that.
Yeah, so it kind of, I don't know, all the pieces fell in place in the end, and I was actually doing something good with this premises now. Like it was busy again, and it was running, and it was 6 chairs and all the rest of it, and a tattoo parlor in the basement, and
that's amazing.
I opened up with a friend and stuff, and yeah, man, it was all going really well.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Yeah. And and how did the tattoo side of things?
So the tattoo side of things was a conversation that I was having with a friend of mine who's a very talented artist for years. I said, this shop is going to be mine. It's got a basement. I'd love for it to be tattoo, and this dream was all kind of coming together. And he was like, "Yeah, man, we can do it." And he'd never owned his own shop, but he'd managed a few. I think just, everyone has different opportunities in life, and the opportunity just maybe didn't come to him. So I was like, I'm going to build this whole tattoo shop for you. You're not going to have to put a dime in. Just work there, manage the business, and we'll come up with some sort of deal. And it will all be cool. And the whole dream will come together. Excuse me. And there was a time where for about a year it was working. But this friend that I'd gone into business with, and it's one thing my dad said to me, there's no friends in business. And there's no truer words, bro, because there is no friends in business, right? But I stubbornly and idealistically did not want to believe that, right? Because I'm a bit of an idealist.
Yeah, and I'm like that as well.
Yeah, well, you want to think the best, you know what I mean?
Optimistic
and all the rest of it, yeah. So we started this thing, and I think I slowly started to realise, and he's a great guy, this guy. But I think I slowly started to realise why he'd never owned his own shop. Do you know what I mean? Just in terms of the way he was running. I think just the way we both viewed running businesses were two very different things. We'd both come from very different places, very different examples of how a business should be run and what it should be.
Yeah. I hear that.
And it's not something that I fully considered.
No.
When launching the thing. And also he had no monetary input in the project. So him walking away or just going, I don't feel like doing this today, was not a thing for him, right? Yeah. Because he's got no investment.
Exactly, yeah.
So, so many lessons learned.
I know. The thing is, you don't know these things until you try them. Like, it could have gone any way. Like, it could have gone either way. Yeah. So it's just,
well, you know what?
Hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Instead of my dad being so vague, he could have sat me down and gone, you know what, this and this could have happened. But I won't put it on him. Do you know what I mean? But I've always someone I'm someone that's at times had to learn the hard way. Yeah. Because I don't want to listen. I don't like, and also if you're not really explaining stuff to me in full detail, I won't listen because you're not telling me anything.
It's a little bit like what you were saying earlier, how you like to make a decision yourself on something and then consult, your family after. And I think there's a lot to be said about you going out in life and making your own mistakes and learning your own lessons. Because what might have not worked, say, for your dad or your mum or anyone else, might work for you, and the other way around. You know, like half of it is like luck and skill anyway. So it's a little bit like, you know, by me saying don't do that doesn't necessarily mean the same thing's going to happen. Like, so it's better off that at least you doing exactly what you felt was right.
Yeah.
Then it's like, then you haven't not necessarily got anyone else to blame, but it's all on you. You made that decision. You did it. So you don't have to worry about, I shouldn't have listened to that person, or I shouldn't have.
Well, that's what I mean. So it's like, you know, you can only be angry at yourself at the end of it, which is shit, but good in them situations. But yeah, that kind of basically didn't end up working.
Right.
You know, for a few different reasons. So I ended up closing that down, and I had my other huge passion outside of barbering and tattoos and art and stuff is music. I've played guitar most of my life. I don't know if you remember in school me playing guitar and stuff, but I played guitar for most of my life. At that point, I had a lot of friends that were rappers or singers or were in bands or whatever. And I had this space now that I wanted to use. And I don't know if you've ever seen a thing on YouTube called Tiny Desk, where it's kind of like an office setting where they that's a part of a radio station, and they bring people in. They bring bands and artists in, and they set up an acoustic set, and they play.
Well, vibes in there.
Yeah, and it's just like cameras are set up, and it's just like a YouTube channel.
Oh,
so I was like, sick. That's what I can do in the basement. But what happened was, I did a few parties in the shop, a few big parties, and they're both upstairs and downstairs. And there was this like whole. Everyone was like, oh, it's like a speakeasy. You go in the barbershop and you go downstairs, and there's like this party place. And I had a little bar down there and stuff, and the bar was making money. And I had friends that were in A&R in like, you know, big music positions. They were like, this would be a sick little music spot, like for listening parties and for club nights and stuff. And they were like, you could kill it. So I was like,
let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Like, cool, I'll do that, because I didn't have a videographer with loads of cameras. I didn't have the. I thought I've got to build up a YouTube channel from the start, which I commend you for trying to do, because I was in that position.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I was in that position. I was just like, you know what? I've seen money from the bar. I'm just going to throw parties down here, man. Like, get my license in that I needed to get, which is like a personal license, which then allows me to apply for TENs, which are temporary events notices. So then I just apply for them every time I want to do a party. Had a little bar there, which you could put anyone behind, because it wasn't like cocktails. And bro, I was just killing it every party.
Wow.
Every party that I
Yeah, were you?
Yeah, man.
It was just going off.
And then like teaming up with friends that had other friends that were DJs, that had other friends that would come to the parties, and all of our friends would come. And
you just have like loads of people queuing outside the barbershop at
night
time.
It was all guest list. Tried to keep it all above board. Like nothing got rowdy, or nothing was naughty was going on. They were all like above board licensed party events.
Wicked.
Yeah, I mean, we'd push all the barber chairs back.
Oh,
clear all the perishables so no one could stab someone. Do you know what I mean? So upstairs is like room 1. So everyone, if you want to chat and talk, we've just got the barbershop sound system going on upstairs. The N64, I don't know if you've seen.
Yeah, I have.
The N64 at the front. So that with the sofa, people were playing that. Smoking areas out the front. And then the club and the bar and the dance floor and everything is downstairs. Wicked. Yeah, man. And the parties would go off. I think we threw I threw like 13 or 14 last year. Not being as on it this year just because they get late, man. And I can't.
Yeah. I know, especially if you're working the next day, though, right? I mean, would you normally do it on a Saturday? Or? Yeah,
man. I mean, some days now I just do 4 days. I do 4 very long days a week.
Okay.
I have my weekends off.
Oh, nice.
And that's my schedule now.
Yeah.
But before, I mean, I was just not thinking, like working a whole day, having a few hours to like shit, eat, and buy some drinks for the club, or do tie up the loose ends, and then back downstairs for a party that's gonna go.
Yeah, it's a lot.
3 a.m.
That's a lot.
Yeah, man, it was a lot. So as much as they were all the parties are staffed. Do you know what I mean? It's a whole team there, but I still felt like I need to be there. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't let these parties run without me there, because they were parties at the end of the day. I had like up to 100 people down there.
Wow.
Some events.
Is that how many people you could fit down?
Yeah, hundreds of cap. Yeah, I wouldn't do any more. I think 110 was like the most we've ever had, and it was like everyone.
Yeah.
It was sick though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like anything could go wrong. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Luckily, we had really good people and a really good crowd every party. In touch wood, that continues to happen. But I never felt like I could leave it and let someone else close up.
Yeah, I understand.
This was my baby upstairs, and things
Yeah.
need to be managed, and people need to be managed still, and there still needs to be like this floor manager. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but it was great. But the next project I've got for it is going to be even better.
Because you on your synopsis you wrote the next project.
Yeah. The message that I sent you. Yeah.
Is it? Are you keeping it under wraps at the minute, or do you want to share?
It depends when this is going to go out.
So probably in we're about 3 weeks lead time at the minute. So
is it? Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll probably be in October now, I imagine.
It's a long. I won't say what it is, just in case. I don't want to.
It's
you know what I mean?
Surprise.
Yeah. But also like, it's not done yet. Do you know what I mean? It's just plans. But it's along the same lines as of what it already is, but just a much more polished version of it.
Nice.
And a lot, and actually a full-time version of it as well. So whereas the parties that I do at the moment down there are sporadic, they're not every Saturday. I could only do these on Saturdays as well. Because of the mess that it makes and the arrangement of the rearrangement of the shop that it takes. So I would only ever do these parties Saturday nights.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yeah,
I need the Sunday to do a damage control and to move everything
that's
back.
a lot. It's a lot, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? So I would never do it the night before we've got to do a day in the shop. You know what I mean? Whereas this next project is going to be a little bit calmer. It won't allow for as many people, and is going to be more full time, like a Thursday to Saturday type thing. Maybe a few more, as we'll see as it goes on. But yeah, man, it's exciting. It
sounds exciting to be fair.
And it's like, you said
with all the moves you're making.
You asked me like about opening a new shop, and I'm like, I need to conquer this premises first. Do you know what I mean? I'm in no rush. Like Rome weren't built in a day. I think Cuts and Bruises is still very much. It's only just got its identity in the last few years, even though it may have seemed like a really strong brand. I think in terms of like what do we want this to be, and what will it be, and like the people that come in and out of the shop, both barbers and clients, will always dictate that. So you can't say what it is right at the start. Like you got to take your time and build it, and and just see how it goes and see what kind of people you approach. Like the Rocket guys, they've got like 7 shops now.
Have they? Yeah.
All of the guys, not including myself, but including myself because I was the first one to open a shop with these boys. But all of that original team from that Hackney Road shop, they've all got a shop now.
Really?
Yeah. And it's just so fortunate that these boys have met people that they were confident to open a shop with. Whereas I've had guys that are definitely not capable of opening shops, and then some that wanted to go and just do it by themselves.
There's a lot to be said though about trusting yourself as well as other people, and I think as you kind of go through this journey, you've already been doing it as well, where you like go to other barbershops and train people. It's like really giving your staff the best version of Kem, so that there's like mini yous running about, so then you can actually grow and expand. And I think like you have to kind of like you got to keep working in that, and it's no easy task because it's a lot easier to control your own behaviors than it is other people's. But if you do ever want to decide to scale something, then having everyone underneath you share them core values is fundamental. So like what you were saying earlier, you don't dilute it. Like
exactly, you've got to keep it strong. And it's weird. Barbershops aren't that cookie cutter. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like a McDonald's burger with an easy system.
No, exactly.
It's the same. We're talking about individuals,
good quality haircuts.
But different personalities, different types of people, different. Everyone's got their way of doing things. Everyone's trying to be individuals. You know what I mean? So it's like can be quite a hard thing to manage sometimes. Yeah, like managing people, as I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is like almost like a special special kind of hell. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
No, I get you.
If you can do it well, it's like a huge skill.
Yeah. I think what I did learn was that there's more than one ways to skin a cat. There's more than one way to get to the end goal. And just because it isn't exactly the same way that I would do it, doesn't mean that way doesn't work at all.
Yeah, for real.
I think that's kind of how I've perceived it in the end, because sometimes, I'll be honest with you, my head's so cluttered that they might find an even better way to get to that end goal than I could foresee. So you're giving people that kind of trust to be creative in a space as well, helps them kind of grow and really kind of get bought into to what's happening. So actually I've got one of the questions I wanted to ask you is what's your motive? What is it? Why do you do?
Funny that.
Yeah, I know. Coincidence. What is it? Why is it you do what you do?
I think it just makes me happy, man. I don't know. I know it's a pretty vague answer, but I don't know. I've always found a certain solace in cutting hair and talking to people, be it strangers or old friends. You know, especially as I've got older, at first it was the craft. It was really perfecting this craft. I want to be the best fade that anyone's ever had. Do you know what I mean? Or the best haircut that anyone's ever had, or just the best service in terms of making someone feel comfortable in this environment. Do you know what I mean? And wanting to come back, and then the recognition you get for doing that and stuff. Personally, it's never been the money. That's definitely not something that's ever motivated me. Money I've always seen come if I'm doing what I'm doing right.
It's a byproduct. Yeah.
And 100%. It can be a great byproduct if you concentrate on the right things.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you concentrate on the money, it will never be enough. Right? Because why would it? If that's your goal, what number is the one where you go, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's never ending.
It doesn't work like that. The mentality of it doesn't work like that.
That's why you got to put your passion in the right place and then let the rest follow.
Yeah, you got to just make sure you're doing whatever it is you're doing. Just make sure you're doing it the best that you can. And if the best you can rewards you heavily, or handsomely, whatever, then there's your answers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the community of the barbershop, I think the being able to manage people and teach as well is a huge it's a huge compliment.
Yeah, an honour as well. Yeah, it's quite a privilege.
For people to want to come and learn and stuff from me, I'm that's really nice. It's really nice that they put me in that category of people. And now it's to I suppose make a nice living out of, and also just carry on doing the projects and stuff this basement side hustle thing is, I love it.
Yeah, good.
You know what I mean?
It sounds exciting.
It's not a stress for me. Do you know what I mean? It's I've sunk loads of money into each thing that's happened, and I've always profited or broken even at least.
Yeah.
I've never been at a loss, so that's always great. But each project's got a bit bigger, and we'll see. I think this one's to be the biggest one yet, but it will.
It sounds exciting.
Yeah, man.
It sounds exciting.
It'll be good.
I'm looking.
I hope that's answered your question.
Yeah, you did. No, you did. I definitely heard some bits that were quite important to me actually. So when do we actually find out about your project?
Probably once I've confirmed builders and stuff.
Right. Okay. No, I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
Yeah, which will be hopefully by the end of the year.
Yeah. Exciting, man. Looking forward to hearing about it. But Kem, thank you for coming on today, man. I really enjoyed your story.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. And we'll have to run it again at some point after this project happens. A big love, man. Thank you.